Hey everybody, thanks for being here. In case you haven't noticed, everybody's talking about the Nordstrom sale. It is the hot topic on social media as far as influencers or creators go. But I'm going a little bit against the grain on this one. I'm not buying anything from the sale this year. I get that there are a lot of great things in the sale. I saw that they've got some kind of combo of Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair. That stuff is amazing. I use it every night. I'm going to continue buying it through my friend David. He's the Estee Lauder makeup artist at Bergdorf Goodman in New York. I want to keep supporting him, so that's just my plan, but I know that is part of the sale. Also, they've got Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I love that moisturizer in the mornings. I don't need any right now, but that's in the sale too. My temptations really lie in the makeup, you know, a palette here, a nice little duo of products over here, and that's really tempting to me. But as I said, I'm skipping it this year. And I thought I might do a full face of makeup, throwing out some different alternatives to some of these things. Maybe it might remind you of some things that are really similar to stuff in the sale that you already have. Or, you know, you're really inspired by hearing everybody talk about this sale, but you just don't feel like spending Nordstrom money on things. These would be some lower cost things that you can be just as satisfied with. Sound like fun? I thought so. And we've really got some interesting things to talk about when it comes to a certain Charlotte Tilbury palette. And also, I'm gonna try a totally different eye technique today. So, woohoo! I need some coffee first of all. That first sip of coffee in the morning. So a certain primer duo really caught my eye in this sale. They've got the Laura Mercier Illuminating Primer. As you can see, I have one here, and I think it's a really good primer. Laura Mercier is one of those brands that really goes hard on primer and comes up with so many different formulations, and the illuminating is really good. But I couldn't believe recently how I came into this one from Believe Beauty. I know I've talked about it in a couple of recent videos, but it has the very same kind of glowy tone. There's a warmth to both of them. Here, let me swatch them for you. Nice and creamy, not too thick. Here I've got the Laura Mercier just thinly swatched right there. And then literally, yeah, from the dollar store. I like my Laura Geller Spackle Mattify on some occasions, and on other occasions, maybe I want something a little bit glowy. So there's the Believe Beauty right there. There's the Laura Mercier. And they both have this kind of like little bit warmish glow to them, like soft champagne-y golden glow. And it's really just the exact same level of shimmer. If you really get right down to it, the texture of the Laura Mercier feels a bit thinner. But all in all, I think this is a great alternative, and this is what we're gonna use today. Oh, and I just squirted some on my freshly clean leggings. This is the beauty of makeup. One day you can be going so fully matte. The next day you can flip it and get nice and glowy. Now, foundations and concealers, coverage products in certain shades really aren't things that are part of this sale, so I'm just gonna shop my stash for something I haven't used in a while. I'm pulling out this Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This is the dewy version, so I'll just give her a little shake here, and hopefully the shade is on point enough. I think it will be. Color is Buff Bisque. And then I'm just using my Profusion brush to get that all blended in. This is one of those foundations that's labeled dewy, but I never feel like I come away like off the charts dewy when I'm done. Like there's a nice little glow to it, but you know what I mean? It's not over the top. Does this foundation kind of smell like sunscreen to anybody else? Oh, that blends in so nicely. Really pretty coverage with this stuff. Wow. See what I mean? How it's got like this sort of natural radiant finish, but it's not coming on too strong. I like it. And for concealer today, I'm going to go with my trusty e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. And for this, it doesn't take much, just a couple of dots on my inner under eye area and a couple out here. Little around the nose, and perhaps anywhere else you feel like brightening up. But I love Camo Concealer. The hydrating version is also phenomenal. This is what it really comes back to for me. Like this is my new level where I compare things at. All concealers get compared back to e.l.f. Camo because you just can't beat the price and the way it performs. Undeniably good. But do you ever get that feeling when you're shopping, you know, like I was looking at things for this sale before I ever really had this specific video idea, and looking through all the things on sale, and it's like you're in the mood to shop and you want to shop, but then it just ultimately kind of just lands on you that I don't really need anything. That's just sort of where I'm at with it this year. And also maybe there's just a little exhaustion in hearing everyone else recommend 5,000 different things that we all need, and it's like, oh, really? Okay, the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. It's being sold in a little combo pack in this sale, and this is a fantastic product. When will they start giving love to the pressed version of this? Seriously, wouldn't it be a great duo to give a person like some loose, maybe a mini of the loose, but then a full size of the pressed translucent powder? Like, go for that, Laura Mercier. But if you want to sidestep that idea entirely and go drugstore, Maybelline Fit Me is where it's at. And I use the Fair, and I feel like it is such a comparable option to the translucent shade of her powder. So I'm just going to use a little of that on my small tapered brush here. It's a nice matte powder. There's something about the Laura Mercier when you use it. You feel like a little extra perfected for just putting a small amount of it on. And I do get that feeling here, and I feel a little extra brightened up too. Maybe even a bit more brightened up when I use this, just because of the shade. But the whole T-zone's getting this today, yes. But I've been talking about this as an alternative for years, so I'm sorry, no breaking news here, but it is something that I definitely see in the sale a lot. And if you're trying to save money and get the same look, you can go for this. Okay, guys, there's a Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette. You know how these multi-palettes draw me in. And this one they call a limited edition, all-in-one, easy-to-use eye, cheek, and bronzer palette in Sunset Dreamscape, plus a travel-size Pillow Talk mascara. And you're gonna pay $75. That palette is always $75. They're just throwing in a mini mascara. That's the one little thing that I guess is making this a little bit better value. But I look at the shades and I thought, oh, there's like kind of a burgundy sort of, like it looks like dusty burgundy eyeshadow in there. There's kind of a soft pinky shade, a couple tones of blush. Like it's always gonna catch my eye. Okay, it's always gonna tempt me. But you guys, Mama's been digging, okay? I got things here. First off, let's just stick within the same brand here. I've got a couple of these. One is in Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. This was like a holiday version, the year before last, I believe. And then I've got Stoned Rose, currently available on Sephora's website. Let's just take a little peek at what's going on with the color scheme. My God, is it so similar. Like this shade over here, this kind of murky, dusty mauve type color. Okay, they've got that going on. That's that base deep shade of the new one. Now the shade that's placed right here, while similar in tone, it seems a bit more pinky in the new one. But we also have then those two tones of blush, and you're getting basically Film Star Bronze and Glow happening in these two shades. So I thought, wow, that is really so similar. And I'm pointing this out because some of you might already own these palettes. This is the other one too. Again, a lot of similarities going on. I probably didn't need to buy Stoned Rose, but this is Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, and I also see that deep kind of burgundy-ish shade right here. Middle color is going to run a little deeper than what's happening in the new palette, but again with the same face colors, super duper similar bottom blush shade. This is probably like a little bit lighter. This is like an additional highlight basically in this palette. But yeah, between the two of these, it's like the looks are already so similar, and then they do have a lot of similarities to the newest one. I just couldn't see myself buying that one. And then I pop open like this palette from Tarte that I have called Ladies Night. And this I got not that long ago off of QVC. We have blush, we have bronzer and highlight, and then we have a really similar color scheme to what you're seeing in the new Charlotte Tilbury one, except here we're getting 6 eyeshadows instead of just 3, and less money overall. Just throwing that out there. The Balm, the Alternative Rock palette, the Volume 1. If we're looking for an eye look that gives us kind of a rosiness or a burgundiness, love that. 6 different shades here, and also blush, bronzer, highlight. I'm not claiming these are dupes, but I'm just saying they're alternatives that give you the same color scheme on the face. And then from Profusion, you know, our little $5 friend here, the Pink Nudes palette, where you're getting a couple of blushes, a highlight, and these kinds of shadows, these tones always remind me of her palettes, the Charlotte Tilbury ones, because we've got that like dusty rose, sort of a pinky tone, some muted shimmers in here. We're lacking a bronzer, but really that's it. And this may be just what I use today because I'm doing something called a reverse cat eye today, and I can just be very subtle with everything on the face. So anyway, friends, I'm done ranting on that Charlotte Tilbury palette, but my gosh, can they switch it up a little bit from time to time. Once I got to looking at what I had, it was so easy to resist that temptation. So I am going to use the Pink Nudes palette for the blush and the highlight, and I'm just going to pull in my Believe Beauty in the Tropics Tahitian Sun bronzer. So a little bronzer first. And quality-wise, don't get me wrong, the Charlotte Tilbury palettes are nice. You know, it's really cool to have so many different functions in a small palette. You get the mirror. I've used those. I've been pleased with them, but I guess it's just the type of thing that you need to learn. Really look at what you already have. If you're drawn to those palettes like I am, double check what you have because odds are it's going to be really similar to the newest thing that's come out, because they just don't vary the shades up very much at all. Maybe next time they will. Talk about beautiful, effortless contour though, my goodness. DG, baby. You could have a heck of a time hauling some Believe Beauty from Dollar General for the amount of money you could potentially spend at the Nordstrom sale. Just saying. Okay, so this has a little glow in it. You're maybe seeing that across the forehead, just a little bit of sheen catching the light. I like that. Now we're going to move on to the pretty blushes and highlights in my Profusion Pink Nudes palette. We have a shimmer blush, a more matte blush, and then a highlight over here. Also various shades that could be highlights up in here. And if I really wanted to do it, I could use that shade as a contour, I think. But I'm going to use Fantasia down here, this shimmer blush. A little bit of that on my e.l.f. blush brush. What a pretty glow in that shade. A lot of shimmer. Like, wow. But when it's not totally catching the light, look how it looks more pinky. It's like completely two tones on the cheek. Catching the light, not catching the light. I'm not sure how many of you are finding this palette still in Walmart stores, but even if you're not, you can buy it off of Profusion's website. It's only $5. Now I'm going to use Smashing right over here, this kind of goldeny, champagne-y highlight, just because we can't get enough of the glow today. Profusion palettes, gorgeous, beautiful quality. Don't sleep on the brushes either. They have a face brush 5-pack that's like right around 25 bucks, and it is incredible. I'm using the highlight brush from there. I'm going to highlight my Cupid's bow. Awesome. Okay, we're going to return to that palette in a few, but I'm going to talk about setting spray and Urban Decay All Nighter. We all love it. It works really well. It's very effective, but I've got to say that the Catrice HD, had to grab it, Active Performance Freezing Spray. This really does extend the wear of my makeup, and it's a lot less money than All Nighter, so if you are wanting to cut corners with what you're paying, try this out. I'm gonna go ahead. Every mist, like, it's a fine mist, but every time you spray, like, it's a big fan. So really, like, 4 mists feels like it covers my face super well. You don't need to go overboard with it. It's not gonna make you look like intensely glowy. That's not really its function. When I think about using this mist, I use it for staying power. Now they have one that's also their Dewy Glow where you shake it up, and this one's really beautiful as well. This is gonna leave you actually glowing all over the skin. This one, not so much. It might take down the powdery look a little bit, but overall, it's just like locking it in. On the topic of brows, I noticed they've got a Brow Wiz duo, so they're selling 2 Brow Wizzes plus a clear gel. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, every drugstore brand pretty much is cranking out a skinny brow pencil. I've got one from ColourPop right here in Bangin' Brunette, and it's probably, you know, it's not even one of my most favorite kinds. I've gone through skinny pencils from CoverGirl, from L'Oreal, from Maybelline, from e.l.f. I mean, like, they're everywhere, and they're just as good as the ABH. For some reason, like, the L'Oreal one is kind of standing out in my mind as being a very similar texture to the ABH one. This ColourPop, while it's the exact same, like, fine tip size, this is a little softer in texture than Brow Wiz, but I'm just kind of like saying this for awareness. You know, you have other options out there. What might keep you coming back to Brow Wiz is a certain shade, because they do have a nice shade range. But then if we're talking gel, I tell you what, I think one of the best things going as far as brow gels right now is the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. I mean, that stuff, it's tinted, number one. Number two, the brush is absolutely genius. Half the brush has short bristles, it holds a lot of product, it allows that product to lay down on your brows. You could use that and that alone to fill in if you wanted to. And then one side of the brush has longer bristles, and that acts practically like a bare spoolie. Like that side holds next to no product, and you're able to actually use that in a functional way, you know, like to rake product through with only one simple tube, you know, nothing complex. I would highly recommend that. Okay, I've got the ColourPop going here. Again, I gotta be a little careful because this is a softer consistency. And then you bet we're gonna use this. I love this gel. So here, my brows are pretty much like nicely filled in. I'm not looking for more fill in, so I'm just using like that longer bristled side and just allowing it to set the lashes or the brow really lightly and easily. Next up, I'm just gonna throw on some Milani Eyeshadow Primer. This is gonna be a really, really light shadow look because the focus is going to be on the lower liner, which is really a place that's typically not a focus for me in my eye looks, but I saw this on TikTok last night and I really want to try it on myself. It's gonna give my eye, I think, a totally different look than what you're used to seeing. But again, we're going off of the kinds of color tones that you're finding in the Charlotte Tilbury palette. We're just using Profusion. Let me find my inspiration picture here. Okay, his name is Painted by Spencer, and it's like the cat eye is definitely going inward and it's also extending outward. It's not looking super long and really winged up on the outside, but it's like a straight line practically, and it's going in the waterline, and then it's kind of looking smoky on the bottom part. So I want to try that. And the shadow up top is just really soft. It even just looks like a regular mascara look, although this could probably be pretty with lashes too, but it's all about that lower lash line mainly. So I'm going to take, let's see, this shade right here called Heavenly in my Profusion Pink Nudes. And just a super natural, easy contour. As far as eyeliner goes, I really didn't look too hard at the eyeliner offerings. I'm pretty sure I saw the Stila Stay All Day eyeliner pens in there. I've never actually used those before. I hear they're really good. I'm going into the shade Cupid right here. I just used a little bit, but I thought the camera may have cut me off. But it's kind of similar to that mauve-y shade that looks like is in the new Charlotte Tilbury palette. But what I was saying was I'd never used the Stila Stay All Day, but Wet n Wild Breakup Proof is certainly an option. Also the NYX Epic Ink. Oh, I just realized I've got a sheet crease. I can see it coming down right here. You see that? Good luck recreating that. So anyway, there are even liner pen alternatives. But there we go, just really soft. This is just not the star of the show, the upper part of the eye. I'm gonna take this shade over here called Hope, and I'm just gonna pat that all over my lid. Just a nude lid look, y'all, matte. Should we throw in just a little bit more depth up there? We got one deeper shade called Stylish over here. It's like a shimmery chocolate brown. Why not? Make our own rules. Okay, so now we're going to begin this liner process. I'm going to go into my waterline with this Maybelline Tattoo Studio gel pencil liner in Deep Onyx. If they're doing anything with Urban Decay 24/7 liners in this sale, I didn't double check, but I mean, this is a real option for a black. I'm going to go in my waterline first, and I'm really going to make sure to get it in the tear duct as well, right in there. Then I'm wondering about just using this pencil, and it looks like it's coming like straight out from the lower lash line. It's not tipping up too much. May have even drawn that out a little far, okay? And then we're gonna come in right here, side of the nose, just drop it in a little. It's a very small but very key move. Didn't really take as well over here. Oh my God, I am turning into an actual cat. Wow. Okay. It's got to be smudgy though, and a little bit smoky down in here. So I'm going to now take this liner and really get it going on my actual natural lash line. And then we're going to smudge over that and probably soften it with some shadow. Smudging. before it sets. This liner will set. That's why I chose it. Talk about burying the lead with this one. Oh, a Nordstrom sale, Nordstrom sale. I'm going to turn myself into a cat today. It's like the reverse cat eye could not be any more authentic, real, what cats actually look like cat eye. This line here is just a little heavier than I want it to be. Like, I kind of need to do more on this side to make it match, but I'm thinking an angled liner brush can clean it all up and yet also maybe add a little smoke to the look. It's tough because this is lower liner. You got to exercise so much control. It needs to be kind of smoky and soft. So if you're one who even like does the eye first and then the face makeup, like this still kind of has to happen last, it seems like. I'm going to dip into one of my other alternate palettes here. This is the Alternative Rock from the Balm, and I'm going to go into All or Nothing. This is just a matte, like near black brown. And I've got a liner brush. And by the way, I'm not really trying to be the person who tells you exactly how to do this. Like, this is my learning journey right here, okay? So now I'm basically going over everything I just did, and it's gonna need to get softer than this, like quite a bit softer yet. The guy who did this on TikTok, like, it was just really beautifully done. I'm thinking now of going into this shade called Stylish in the Profusion palette with my soft little outer corner, sometimes lower lash line brush. And this is kind of the last phase of this where I try to just make it look a little softer underneath. Lashes will also have a softening effect on all this. It won't look quite so stark, I don't think. Not like I've ever done this before. Okay, it's a little softer. I'm gonna do my mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, what are we thinking now with the mascara? I think the mascara helped a ton, actually. It takes a little getting used to, and it's like a lot to try to get even from left to right. You're thinking about outer wings, you're thinking about inner wings. I feel like my tear duct is like big and not as like pointed and delicate as the guy in the picture. The things you find out about yourself. But it's cool and it's different, and I do think it's kind of fun, actually. So we're gonna move on to lips because I have a lip recommendation to share. There's a NARS Mini Tinted Lip Balm Duo. I love this formula of balm. They're giving you the shades Deep Throat and Fast Lane. I have both of those in full sizes here, so the minis are like half as tall. But these are really nice tinted balms. Actually, my favorite colors in this formula are Dolce Vita and Orgasm, and those are both being sold for the same price, 22 bucks, in a duo on Sephora, if you're interested. But I've kind of come up with some similar shades to these, so I thought I'd show you. Basically, these are soft pinks. One's a little warmer, one's a little cooler. So the warmer one is Deep Throat, and this, you know, it looks almost like it might end up being transparent. I'm gonna put it on the top lip here just to show. Okay, see what we got going on there? And then I realized that these e.l.f. balms, the Hydrating Core Lip Shines, are a really similar feel. I'm pretty close on the color as well as far as duping these goes. So I put that one on the lower. Plus these have a really good smell, like kind of a melon type smell. But there's that. This is in the shade called Joyful, so that's sort of your dupe for Deep Throat there. Again, the texture is so similar on both these products. And then this one called Fast Lane is a little bit cooler pink, so we'll pop that on the upper lip here. And I feel like the e.l.f. ones are a little more opaque than these NARS ones, so I've got to build up the NARS just a bit more. But that's on my top lip. And then for e.l.f., we've got the shade called Happy. Now the Hydrating Core, it's a little heart in the middle, but that's basically transparent. It's not contributing to the color. And so I'm just going to put Happy on the lower lip. Again, same color, same feel. So e.l.f. Joyful and Happy, duping those NARS shades in texture and color. A really cool find there. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the new eye technique and some of these comparable products if you're not feeling the Nordstrom sale, if you're not feeling like dropping a lot of money on these things. Granted, they do have some really good quality products and in some cases some really good bundled up deals, but sometimes you just really have to look at what you have and say, do I need it, or do I already possibly have something really similar in my collection? And it's almost embarrassing how similar the the stuff is that I already own, like to that Charlotte Tilbury palette that's now for sale, I'm like, oh man, I've got that look several times over and we all know it. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope you have a great day. I love you and I'll see you again soon. Bye.